The betting pools on Nexus Station had already reached 40,000 credits by the time Maya Chen stepped into the gladiatorial ring. She stood barely 5 feet tall, her dark hair pulled back in a simple ponytail, wear what looked like maintenance coveralls rather than combat gear. The crowd of various alien species roared with laughter from the viewing galleries above. "Look at this joke," rumbled Krex, a massive Gorvanian trader whose purple scales rippled with amusement. The humans sent a child to represent their species. Maya smiled politely and waved at the crowd. Her expression remained serene, almost friendly, as if she were greeting neighbors at a community picnic, rather than facing potential death in an arena designed to showcase the galaxy's most dangerous predators. The Hegemony Council had established these trials 3 cycles ago after humanity's recent admission into galactic society. Each new species had to prove their worth through combat trials. It was tradition. It was honor. It was also, Maya suspected, complete garbage designed to humiliate newcomers. "Contestants, prepare yourselves," announced Overlord's effect through the arena speakers. His voice carried the typical arrogance of a Thraccari noble, all clicks and hisses that the universal translators rendered into cold formality. "Today we witness the human species attempt to prove they belong among civilized worlds." The word civilized dripped with mockery. Maya's smile never wavered, but something flickered behind her brown eyes. Just for a moment, like lightning behind clouds. Across the arena, her opponent emerged from the opposite gate. The crowd's laughter died instantly. Even the betting stopped. It was a Kytherian Warbeast, standing 12 feet at the shoulder, weighing easily 2 tons. Its 6 legs ended in razor-sharp claws that could slice through titanium plating. 4 arms sprouted from its torso, each ending in hands capable of crushing starship hull plates. Its head was all teeth and fury, with eyes that glowed like molten copper. "Oh, come on," Maya said, her voice carrying clearly in the sudden silence. She sounded genuinely disappointed. "You couldn't find anything bigger?" The Warbeast roared, a sound that shook dust from the arena walls. Spectators in the front rows actually backed away from their viewing windows. Maya tilted her head slightly, studying the creature like a scientist examining an interesting specimen. "You know, back home on Earth, we have a saying about mad dogs." Her voice remained conversational, pleasant even. "Sometimes you have to put them down." The arena master's voice boomed again. "Combat begins in 10 seconds. Contestant Chun, you may select 1 weapon from the available armory." Maya glanced at the weapon rack, built into the arena wall. Plasma rifles, molecular swords, gravity hammers, neural disruptors. Every piece of technology the galaxy's finest warriors had ever devised. She walked over slowly, the crowd holding its breath. She selected a small combat knife. Nothing fancy, just 6 inches of sharpened steel, with a basic grip. The laughter resumed, louder than before. "Is she insane?" whispered Vera Holloway, the human ambassador, from her seat in the diplomatic viewing box. Her knuckles were white as she gripped the armrest. "Perhaps," replied Ambassador Skeptophorian Collective, his crystalline features reflecting amusement. "Your species seems prone to such delusions. We will remember humanity fondly after this unfortunate demonstration." "Combat begins now," declared the arena master. The Warbeast lunged forward with impossible speed for something so massive. Its claws gouged trenches in the arena floor as it charged. Maya stood perfectly still until the last possible second, then stepped sideways. Not a desperate dodge or a panic scramble. Just a simple, economical sidestep. The beast's momentum carried it past her, crashing into the arena wall with enough force to crack the reinforced barriers. It spun around, confused and angry, searching for its tiny target. Maya was behind it, having moved with fluid grace. She looked up at the creature's massive bulk and sighed. "You know what your problem is?" she asked, as if they were having a casual conversation. "You're all size and no brains." The Warbeast spun toward her voice, but Maya had already moved again. This time she was at its side, studying the armored plates that covered its legs. "Fascinating anatomy," she mused, dodging another swipe from its claws. 6 legs of stability, redundant organ systems, reinforced skeletal structure. She paused, tilting her head. But every design has weaknesses. The crowd watched in growing confusion as Maya continued to avoid the beast's attacks with minimal effort. She wasn't running or fighting. She was examining her opponent like a mechanic looking at a broken engine. "What is she doing?" growled Crex from the stands. "Losing," replied another spectator, just very slowly. The Warbeast grew more frustrated with each missed attack. Its roar shook the arena, and its claws left deeper gouges in the walls and floor. But somehow, the small human always seemed to be just out of reach. Maya ducked under another swipe and found herself near the creature's head. For the first time, she looked directly into its glowing eyes. Her expression hadn't changed. Still pleasant. Still smiling. "You want to know something interesting about humans?" she asked the beast, as if it could understand her. "We're persistence hunters. Back on Earth, our ancestors would chase prey for days. Not because we were faster or stronger, because we just wouldn't stop." She stepped back as the creature lunged again, its jaws snapping shut inches from her face. "But that's not the scary part," Maya continued, her voice carrying clearly in the arena's acoustics. "The scary part is what happens when you corner us, when you threaten what we care about." The beast charged again, all fury and muscle and razor claws. Maya dropped low, rolled between its legs, and came up behind it. "See, I have a little sister back on Earth," she said, her voice beginning to change. The pleasantness was still there, but something else was creeping in, something cold. "Her name is Emma. She's 8 years old. She loves strawberry ice cream and horrible pop music." The Warbeast spun around, faster this time, anticipating her movement. But Maya was already somewhere else. "Emma believes her big sister is the strongest person in the universe," Maya continued. "She thinks I can fight monsters and save the day and always come home safely." The creature's next attack was more coordinated, using multiple arms to try to corner her. Maya flowed around the strikes like water, never quite where the claws expected her to be. "Now, here's the thing," Maya said, and her smile was still there, but the warmth had left it entirely. "Emma is going to watch a recording of this fight. They're broadcasting it to Earth, you see. She's probably watching right now, believing her big sister's going to win, because that's what big sisters do." The Warbeast paused, perhaps sensing the change in her demeanor, its glowing eyes fixed on her small form. "So you have a choice," Maya said quietly. The arena had gone completely silent. Even the crowd could hear her now, and something in her tone made them stop breathing. The beast snarled and tensed its muscles, preparing for another charge. "Or," Maya continued, and her voice dropped to barely above a whisper, "you can keep trying to kill me. Keep trying to make my little sister watch her hero die on live broadcasts." She took a step forward, just one step, but somehow it seemed to fill the entire arena. "And if you choose option 2, Maya said, her pleasant mask finally slipping completely away, "you'll discover why my species survived long enough to reach the stars despite being small and soft and having no natural weapons." The crowd held its breath. The betting had stopped entirely. Even Ambassador Sketh leaned forward in his seat. "You'll discover," Maya said, her voice now carrying a promise that made several spectators shiver, "what happens when you threaten a human's family." The Warbeast charged. Maya moved, not the careful, measured movements from before. This time she moved like violence itself, like the promise of death given form. She went under the creature's guard, past its claws, beyond its reach. The small combat knife flashed once. The Warbeast's roar cut off abruptly. It stumbled, confusion replacing rage in its copper eyes. It took 2 more steps and collapsed. 12 feet of engineered killing machine brought down by 6 inches of steel applied with surgical precision. Maya stood over its still form, not even breathing hard. She looked up at the viewing galleries, her pleasant smile returning as if it had never left. "Next?" she asked politely. The arena master's voice cracked when he spoke. "Combat complete. Victory to contestant Chun." The silence stretched for nearly 30 seconds. Then Ambassador Sketh began to laugh. Not mockery this time. Something else entirely. Something that might have been respect or possibly fear. "Remarkable," he whispered to Ambassador Holloway. "Your species is remarkable." Vera Holloway was staring at Maya, seeing her clearly for perhaps the first time. "You have no idea," she replied. In the arena below, Maya cleaned her knife on a creature's hide and tucked it back into her belt. She waved cheerfully at the cameras, knowing her little sister was watching. "Hi, Emma," she said, her voice warm with affection. "Big sister's coming home." The crowd erupted, half in celebration, half in terror. The betting pools exploded back to life, with new odds and new calculations, because now they understood something fundamental about humanity that they'd missed before. Humans weren't dangerous because they were strong or fast or naturally armed. Humans were dangerous because they were willing to become monsters to protect the things they loved. And Maya Chen had just given the galaxy its first real demonstration of what that meant. The celebrations in the human diplomatic quarters lasted exactly 14 minutes before Maya Chen walked in and told everyone to shut up. "We have a problem," she announced, still wearing her blood-stained coveralls. The party atmosphere died instantly. Ambassador Vera Holloway set down her champagne glass and gestured for the room to clear. "What kind of problem?" Vera asked once they were alone. Maya's smile had returned, but it wasn't the pleasant expression from the arena. This was something sharper. Something that suggested violence was still very much on the table. "The kind where they never intended for me to win," Maya replied. "The kind where this whole thing was designed to humiliate humanity and give the Hegemony Council an excuse to reject our membership application." She pulled out a small recording device and set it on the table. "I planted a few listening bugs during my pre-fight inspection. You'd be amazed what people say when they think the dumb human can't understand their language." The recording began to play. Overlord Zefek's voice filled the room, speaking in rapid Thackeray that the translator rendered into galactic standard. The human female defeated the Warbeast 2 easily. This was not anticipated. "Initiate Protocol 7 immediately." Another voice responded, this one belonging to Arena Master Vox. "Protocol 7 is dangerous. Overlord, if the human dies, their species will demand investigations." "Then ensure appears accidental," Zefek replied coldly. "Release all remaining test subjects simultaneously. In the chaos, no one will question how she perished." The recording ended. Vera Holloway's face had gone pale. "All remaining test subjects," she whispered. "Maya, how many creatures are we talking about?" "According to the Arena Documentation 17, Maya replied cheerfully, "including 3 more Warbeasts, a pack of Zarathi blood hunters, 2 Void Stalkers, and something called a Nightmare Weaver that even the Arena staff won't go near without full environmental suits." Vera began reaching for her communication device. "I need to contact her command immediately. We can lodge a formal protest. Demand you withdraw from the trials." "No." Maya's voice was quiet, but absolute. "That's exactly what they want. They want us to run. To prove that humans are cowards who fold under pressure." "Maya, be reasonable. 17 apex predators simultaneously is suicide." Maya's smile widened. "Ambassador, I think you're forgetting something important about my species." "What's that?" "We're really, really good at killing things that try to kill us." Before Vera could respond, the arena's announcement system crackled to life throughout the station. "Attention all species representatives. Due to technical difficulties with the containment systems, today's trials will conclude with an emergency survival scenario. Contestant Chen will face multiple opponents in a test of adaptability and endurance. This is not, repeat not, a sanctioned combat trial." Maya laughed, a sound that somehow managed to be both musical and terrifying. "Technical difficulties. How convenient." She stood up and began checking her equipment. The small combat knife was still at her belt, but now she added a few items from her personal kit. A medical scanner, some basic tools. Nothing that would be considered a weapon by galactic standards. "Maya, you don't have to do this," Vera said desperately. "We can find another way." "Actually, I do." Maya's expression grew serious for a moment, because Emma is still watching. "And so are about 4 billion other humans who were told their species finally made it to the big leagues." She moved toward the door, then paused. "Besides, I'm curious to see what happens when they realize they didn't bring nearly enough monsters. The walk back to the arena felt different this time. Word had spread through Nexus Station about Maya's victory over the Warbeast. The corridors were packed with beings from dozens of species. All wanted to catch a glimpse of the human who had made it look easy. Some whispered in fear, others in respect, a few in what might have been anticipation. Maya waved at all of them with the same pleasant smile. She seems remarkably calm for someone about to die, observed General Thex of the Corvani military caste, watching from an observation deck. Perhaps humans process fear differently, suggested Dr. Millian, a Forian xenobiologist. Their stress responses may be inverted. Or perhaps, said a new voice, you're about to learn why humans became the dominant species on a death world. They turned to see Captain James Morrison, Maya's backup from a human delegation. Unlike Maya's maintenance coveralls, he wore a formal military uniform. Captain, General Thex acknowledged, your subordinate shows remarkable courage in the face of certain death. James smiled, and something about that expression made the general step backward. That's where you're wrong. Maya isn't showing courage. Courage implies being afraid, but doing it anyway. Then what would you call it? Anticipation. In the arena below, Maya emerged from the gate to find the entire space had been transformed. The simple circular fighting pit was gone, replaced by a complex maze of barriers, platforms, and obstacles. Multiple levels provided hiding spots and ambush points. Environmental hazards had been activated. Pools of acid bubbled in strategic locations. Gravity wells distorted space at random intervals. It looked like a slaughterhouse designed by committee. Maya surveyed the changes with professional interest. Well, that's different, she said to herself. They really went all out for the sequel. The arena master's voice boomed overhead. Contestant Chun, you have 30 seconds to familiarize yourself with the arena before the emergency begins. Take your time, Maya called back. I'm in no hurry. She used the 30 seconds to climb to the highest platform and get a complete view of the layout. Her enhanced vision picked out movement in the shadows. Her acute hearing detected the subtle sounds of creatures being moved into position. 17 opponents, each one a certified killer, each one designed to hunt, to tear, to destroy. Maya's smile never wavered. Emergency scenario begins now, announced the arena master. All containment fields deactivated. The gates around the arena burst open simultaneously. 17 nightmares poured into space, each one focused on a small human figure silhouetted against the arena lights. Maya had perhaps 3 seconds before the fastest creatures reached her position. She spent those seconds laughing. Not the pleasant, social laugh from before. This was something primal. Something that spoke to genetic memories of apex predators and successful hunts. Several species in the viewing galleries felt an instinctive urge to hide. The first Zarathi blood hunter reached her platform with a leap that should have ended the fight immediately. These creatures were designed for stealth assassination, with natural camouflage and neurotoxic claws that could paralyze prey in seconds. Maya caught it in midair, spun with its momentum, and redirected its trajectory into one of the acid pools below. The creature's death scream was brief, but memorable. 16, she announced cheerfully. The remaining creatures converged on her position from multiple angles. Maya didn't try to fight them all. Instead, she moved, not randomly, not in panic, but with the calculated precision of someone who had already mapped every possible outcome. She flowed through the arena like liquid death, using the obstacles and hazards that were supposed to trap her as weapons against her opponents. A void stalker found itself impaled on a gravity spike. 2 more Zarathi hunters collided with each other when Maya vanished from between them at the last possible second. 13, Maya counted, her voice carrying clearly over the sounds of battle. 12, 11. The crowd had gone completely silent. Even the betting pools had stopped updating. Everyone was transfixed by the impossible sight below. The small human wasn't just surviving. She was hunting. Each kill was precise, economical, almost artistic in its efficiency. Maya used her own aggression against them, turned their pack tactics into chaos, made their size and strength into fatal disadvantages. One of the remaining Warbeasts cornered her on a narrow platform. cutting off her escape routes with its massive bulk. It roared in triumph, certain of its victory. Maya looked up at the creature and tilted her head thoughtfully. "You know, your cousin made that exact same sound right before I killed him." The beast lunged. Maya went low, grabbed one of its claws as it passed overhead, and used its own momentum to snap its neck with sound like breaking timber. "7," she announced. The Nightmare Weaver emerged from the shadows, its reality-distorting presence making the very air shimmer with wrongness. This creature existed partially outside normal space-time, making it nearly impossible to predict or counter. Maya studied it for a moment, then shrugged. "Okay, that's genuinely creepy," she admitted. "But here's the thing about nightmares." She pulled out her medical scanner and began adjusting its settings. "They only work if you're afraid to wake up." She triggered a focused electromagnetic pulse that interfered with the creature's dimensional phase variance. It solidified just long enough for Maya to introduce her combat knife to its central nervous system. 6. The remaining creatures began to hesitate. Pack hunters and solitary predators alike found themselves facing something unprecedented in their evolutionary experience. Prey that fought back. Prey that won. Maya noticed their hesitation and laughed again. "What's wrong?" "Starting to wonder if maybe you're not the apex predators in this equation." She moved toward them instead of waiting for their attack. The psychological effect was devastating. Creatures that had never known fear suddenly understood what it meant to be hunted. The last Void Stalker tried to retreat. Maya caught up to it in 3 strides and ended its life with clinical efficiency. 5. The final Warbeast attempted to use the arena's geometry to its advantage, positioning itself where Maya couldn't approach without exposing herself to the other creatures. Maya climbed directly up the arena wall instead, defying the creature's expectations about human physical limitations. She dropped onto its back from 30 feet up and rode like a bull at a rodeo while systematically severing its spinal connections. 4. The 2 remaining blood hunters tried coordinated attacks, using their pack intelligence to predict her movements. Maya began humming while she fought them, an old Earth song that her sister Emma loved. The casual display of confidence broke their coordination entirely. 3. 2. The last creature was something the arena database listed as a terror spawn, a shapeshifter that fed on fear and assumed the form of its victim's greatest phobia. It looked at Maya and began to shift, sampling her memories for the perfect nightmare form. Maya watched with interest as it cycled through various possibilities: giant spiders, burning buildings, deep water, abandonment, loss. Finally, it settled on a form. A small girl with dark hair and sad eyes. Emma, but wrong somehow. Broken, disappointed. "That's my sister," Maya said quietly. The pleasantness had left her voice entirely. The creature wearing Emma's face smiled with too many teeth. "Your greatest fear," it hissed in a voice like breaking glass. "The knowledge that you will fail those you love." Maya stared at the false Emma for a long moment. When she spoke again, her voice was barely above a whisper, but somehow everyone in the arena could hear it. "You made a mistake," she said. The creature tilted its stolen head. "What mistake?" Maya smiled. What happened next lasted exactly 4 seconds. When it was over, the terror spawn was scattered across 3 different platforms, and Maya was cleaning her knife again. "1," she said. Then she looked around the empty arena and corrected herself. 0. The silence that followed was absolute. No cheering, no commentary. Nothing but the sound of Maya's footsteps as she walked to the center of the arena and looked up at the viewing galleries. "Was that sufficient demonstration of human adaptability?" she asked politely. "Or would you like to provide additional test subjects?" Overlord Zefek's voice, when it finally came, was barely steady. "Combat complete. All trials concluded. Contestant Chun victorious." Maya waved at the cameras again, knowing Emma was still watching. "See you soon, little sister. Big sister's work here is done." As she walked toward the exit, Captain Morrison's voice carried over the communication system from the observation deck. "Ladies, gentlemen, and distinguished beings of all species," he announced, "you have just witnessed why humanity earned its place among the stars. Not because we're the strongest or the fastest or the most technologically advanced. He paused, letting the words sink in. But because when you threaten what we love, we become something that even nightmares fear. The human delegation was approved for full membership in the galactic hegemony by unanimous vote. The arena was closed for repairs and psychological counseling, and Maya Chen went home to take her little sister out for strawberry ice cream. After all, she had promised.